All right. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. Pray everyone is doing great. Let's go ahead and get started. First, thank you very much. I know this is the time of the year. Sometimes we're traveling and we have other commitments, but you folks took time out and to be here today. So I really appreciate it. So thank you all very much for accepting the invitation. Those that also came on Friday as well. Thank you all very much. I know there are a lot of different. There was a mass convention that happened over 3 days. So I heard many people are out there as well. I think many people, maybe even from our community. But for us, it was very important to also have something here in house for those that might not be able to make that journey out there. So for those of you that are able to benefit from all the programs going on at the various mosques, may Allah reward you all. Number two, in case you haven't heard my sixth announcement about the food, that means I'm sure we're all hungry. If you haven't got your lunch, please make sure, please get your lunch here. Coffee, tea, all that good stuff's in the back. Please always feel at home here at IASC, and inshallah, God willing, at any mosque that you go to. If you see someone that might be here for the first time, because every week we're blessed, people joining us here for the first time, please extend a hand of friendship or extend a hand of brotherhood or sisterhood. Introduce them, meaning welcome them and get to know them a little bit more, as this might be their first time here, right? Coming on to our talk here, this is our Islam 101 talk. As I'm looking here, our topic is bedtime etiquette, small, amazing actions before sleeping, which is amazing. So Sheikh Jibreel Speight, who is, of course, no stranger to our community here. But for those of you, if this is your first introduction to Sheikh Jibreel, of course, reverted to Islam many years ago. He traveled and went abroad. He studied and lived in Mecca for a number of years before coming back here. He is currently the director of Muslim Life and Educational Chaplain at Chapman University. And he's been, as we always say, and I say very proudly and very loudly, that he is in the trenches with us. What I mean by that is, as you guys know, this journey of when one becomes a Muslim, of course, you have your ups and you have your downs. And the fact that we have our local scholarship here helping us and navigating us through this by the permission of Allah, I can't express to you how important that is to have weekly sessions every week, 2 to 3 classes every week to help us do that. So, Sheikh Jibril, I know you hear me say this a lot, but I don't mean to break your back by praising you. But I personally, I really appreciate it. You sacrificing your time, not just for this program, but for so many other things that you're doing, the Muslim Student Association, the Quran Tafsir program here, and various mosques. May Allah reward you. May Allah bless you and your family for all that you're doing for the greater community. And the floor is all yours, Sheikh. Thank you so much.
In the name of Allah, the Lord of mercy, the bestower of mercy, praise and thanks belong only to Him, and may peace and blessings be sent upon the one who has been sent as a mercy to all of creation, our master and our leader, Muhammad, upon his family, his companions, and those that follow them excellently and righteously until the day of recompense. One time in Medina, some companions had a conversation with the Jewish, or some of the Jewish members of Medina. There were 3 Jewish tribes. Anyway, so they had a conversation, and one of the Jewish residents said, in a in a in a sort of a sarcastic way, "Well, your prophet teaches you everything, huh?" And then one of the companions who were amongst them said, "Yes, our prophet teaches us everything, including how to use the bathroom, including how to use the bathroom." So what we are doing today is not talking about how to use the bathroom. We're talking about how, or what we could consider doing before we go to sleep. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hayyak Allah. And I hope that this will be a reminder for some of you, and a lesson for the rest of you. So there were 10 things we want to cover. 10 things we want to cover, and I hope that you will consider writing some of this down if you wish. The first is, we say, watch your mouth. And what we mean by that is the following. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, as his companions had said, was that the Prophet used to dislike sleeping before praying the sunset prayer. The Prophet used to dislike sleeping sleeping after the sunset prayer. In other words, before the last or night prayer. He used to dislike sleeping before that, and he used to dislike talking after praying the night prayer. So we have the night prayer. The Prophet disliked talking or sleeping rather before praying that, and talking after that. Now, as far as why did the Prophet dislike sleeping after praying sunset prayer, or another way of saying it, before the night prayer, is because usually when a person does that, then chances are, what if they want to try to pray some additional night prayers? Because the Prophet Muhammad used to divide his night into three parts. When he would finish his duties as the leader, if you will, he would go to his residence and he would devote a third of his night to his family, a third to himself, and a third to Allah. At nighttime, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, used to devote his night into thirds, a third to his family, a third for himself, and a third for Allah. So if he went to sleep after praying the sunset prayer and did not sleep after praying night prayer, the chances are he might oversleep praying the additional night prayers that he was highly encouraged to pray. We're talking about praying the last third of the night before dawn prayer. And so that is something as well. That's before. As far as after the night prayer, well, the reason why is because usually when you start talking, start kicking and everything, after you pray the night prayer, there's a real risk that you might start saying some stuff that earns Allah's displeasure instead of his pleasure. You just finished praying. And when you pray, you remove sins. When you start running your mouth, you run the opportunity of falling into maybe a small sin or something and not even realizing it. So the best thing to do, if you can, unless it's for, like, for example, a class or some other type of event, special event for growth of faith and what have you. Other than that, it is better for a person after praying night prayer, go home and get some sleep. By extension, you got some people, they like to chat and everything on their phones after night prayer. That's also part of this as well. That should be avoided, right? No matter what social media or chatting app people use, like that, all that should be shut down after one prays the night prayer. So all of that is considered chatting. And with that as well, getting on the internet and looking at the latest, this, that, and the third, or WhatsApp, or whatever. You flip your phone on and someone got you on a group or something, someone says something, then you feel the urge to say something, or whatever the case may be. All that should be avoided as much as possible. That's the first thing. So watch your mouth. That's basically it in summary. The second is ablution. Before going to bed. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has stated, whenever you go to bed, perform ablution like that for prayer. Whenever you go to bed, perform ablution just like you would if you were about to pray. Lie on your right side. After you do ablution, you lie on your right side and say a specific prayer. I'll put that prayer back up here. It's my final slide, but I'll read it to you right now, dictate it to you. The prayer is, "O Allah, I surrender to you, entrust all my affairs to you, and depend upon you for your blessings. O Allah, I surrender to you and trust all my affairs to you and depend upon you for your blessings, both with hope and fear of you." There is no fleeing from you, and there is no place of protection and safety except with you. There is no fleeing from you, and there is no place of protection and safety except with you. O Allah, I believe in your book, which you have revealed, and in your prophet, whom you have sent. O Allah, I surrender to you and trust all of my affairs to you, and depend upon you for your blessings, both with hope and fear of you. There is no fleeing from you, and there is no place of protection and safety except with you. O Allah, I believe in your book, which you have revealed, and in your prophet, whom you have sent. That's the prayer. Okay. Obviously, it must be a benefit. There is a benefit. The prophet goes on and says, if you die on that very night, if you die on that very night, you will die with faith. If you die on that very night, you will die with faith. Let these words be the last thing you say before you sleep. Let these words be the last thing you say before you sleep. In another narration, he says, if you wake up in the morning, you will earn a reward. Another narration says, if you wake up in the morning, you will obtain good and benefit. So, you do wudu or ablution, lay on your right side, you say this prayer. You go, if you die in faith. So that's a win. If you get up, if Allah returns your soul, that means you have another day, hopefully, then you earn the reward. That's a win. And then on top of that as well, you earn some good and benefit for the day. That's a win. Wow. So you got two possible wins if your soul is returned, and you have a super win if you die. Wow, that's pretty nice. The Prophet Muhammad goes on and says as well that if any Muslim goes to bed in a state of purity, making mention of Allah, then is disturbed. You know, sometimes people sleep in. Who lives in apartments? Anybody live in an apartment? Anybody live in an apartment? All y'all live in homes? MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Happy for y'all, man. That's nice, man. That's nice. You live in an apartment, so maybe even you got some loud neighbors if you got a home. Somebody, man, you trying to get some sleep and everything, and boom! Right? On the side of you, above you, or, you know what I'm saying? You know, some of y'all might not be, you know, real hard sleepers. Some of y'all kind of like, you know, kind of light sleepers. You hear something, you know, you just kind of wake up. So the Prophet goes on and says that if you go to sleep in a state of purity and you mention Allah's name, and then you are disturbed in your sleep during the night, and ask Allah for good, Allah will give it to you. That's another win. So you go to bed, you're in purity, you go to sleep, and something disturbed you, something woke you up, whatever case may be. And you just ask Allah, ask for your good, and try to go back to sleep. Boom, you get something good, inshallah, Allah willing. That's a win. That's a beautiful win. Third thing, check your bed. So we have watch your mouth, do ablution, check your bed. What do I mean by that? There's a narration that the Prophet said, peace and blessings be upon him, when he said, when one of you goes to bed, that person should wipe off their bed. You know how you see some dust and you kind of dust it off like that? All right. That's the idea. So here's my iPad. Let's pretend this is the bed. Okay. You're about to go to bed. You take your hand and kind of wipe it off like Bismillah, in the name of Allah. You kind of wipe it off like that. The whole sheet to the best of your ability. Okay. So you do that. And then the Prophet explained why. He said, because that person doesn't know what might have been on it before laying down. So what is it that the Prophet's talking about? He's talking about the jinn. He's talking about the jinn. We have jinn. Sometimes they're in your house and they see your bed. They lay on your bed. Jinn are pieces of creation that we don't see. They're made from smokeless fire. made from smokeless fire. Angels are made from light. Some jinn are believers, like us, and some are disbelievers, like Iblis or the Satan. All right. The prophet said, whenever you go to bed, wipe off your bed. All right, wipe off your head. Now he mentioned using your lower garment. You can also use your hand. Why? Because a person doesn't know what may have been on it before laying down. Then he goes on and teaches us some more. When that person lays down, they should lay on their right side and say the following: Glory be to you, my Lord. Glory be to you, my Lord. I have laid down on my side, and I raise it up. If you take my soul, then forgive it. If you take my soul, then forgive it. If you return it, then guard over it as you guard over your righteous servants. Once again, glory be to you, my Lord. I have laid down on my side, and I raise it up by you. I raise it up by you. If you take my soul, then forgive it. If you release it or if you return it, then guard over it as you guard over your righteous servants. Nice, huh? Number four. 112, 113, 114. In other words, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has taught us he used to do like this. He used to sit in his bed before laying down, and he used to bring his hands together, and he used to read the 112th chapter, 113th chapter, 114th chapter. If you know the Arabic, beautiful. If you don't, then you say the English until you learn the Arabic. And then he would read it one set, and then he would spittle like this. Not spit, spittle like this, okay? And then he wipe himself, wipe his face, his head, his body, everything to the best of his ability, reaching as much as he could. He did it 3 times. That's part of the bedtime etiquette. Number 5, reading the throne verse. That's the second, and that's in the second chapter, verse 255. It's called the throne verse. Ayatul Kursi, for those of you that may know it in Arabic, huh? That's the second chapter, verse 255. Let me tell you the story behind that. There was a companion. His name was Abu Huraira. And he says the following: one night, the Prophet had placed me in charge of the zakat, so the alms tax, the zakat for Ramadan. And I saw somebody come over by the zakat area and steal a handful of the food. Most of the zakat back then was food. It wasn't money, it was food. So I grabbed him. And I told him, I'm going to take you to God's messenger. And the guy said, wait, I'm a needy person. I have children that depend on me. And my need is very, very great. I'm in huge need, man. So he let him go. Then the morning came and the Prophet asked him, so what happened to the person that you saw taking the zakat last night? Abu Hurairah said, Messenger of Allah, he said that he was in huge need. He's got children depending upon him, so I had pity on him and let him go. Prophet said, he lied to you. He'll be back. So then the companion said, okay, I realized that, okay, so now I know he's going to come back because the Prophet says so, he's going to come back. And sure enough, the next night, there he is again. Scheming. He took some of the food from the zakat. Right? I grabbed him. And I said, and he said to himself, and I was certain I'm going to take him to Allah's messenger. And then he said, look, have pity on me. I'm really, really poor. I got kids. They really depend on me. Please, please, please. So he let him go. The morning passed. Prophet asked him, what happened to the person that you captured? I let him go. He said he was in a whole lot of need. The prophet said, that person has definitely lied to you. He's going to come back again. But third night comes. Companions, he looking. Which one of y'all going to do it? Which one of y'all? Which one of y'all? Yeah, which one of y'all? I see him. There. He grabbed some food. I got you now. This time, I'm not going to let you go. I don't care what you say. Basically, that's what he said to him. I'm taking you right to God's messenger, Allah's messenger. And then he said, the one that got captured said, look, let me teach you something that Allah will benefit you. So Abu Hurairah, the companion, said, okay, what exactly are you going to teach me? And then the captured person said, if you go, or when you go to bed, read the throne verse. Read the throne verse until the end of it. Because when you do, Allah will send a guardian angel over you for the whole night. And no devil will come to harm you while you're asleep. I mean, that's dope. He let him go. He let him go. And the morning passed, the morning comes, and the Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, asked him, so what's up with your prisoner? Where you at? He said, look, messenger of Allah, I had him, I was going to take him to you, but then he told me if I say such and such, I'll be protected. The Prophet looked at him and said, he spoke the truth, but he is a big liar. He spoke the truth, but he's a big liar. The one that taught to you was a devil. There you go. So I just brought you the whole story, but the point being is that before you go to bed, read the throne verse before you go to bed. It's a nice story, though. Number 6, I call it the 100-tongue exercise. What in the world are you talking about, man? Let me tell you another story. Prophet had children. They were all, his surviving children were daughters. One was Fatima. Her name was Fatima. She was the only daughter that actually lived long enough to see the Prophet die. The others, they died either in marriage or they were babies. Let me tell you what happened. So Fatima was married to her husband. His name was Ali. Ali was the first youngster to embrace Islam way back in Mecca. Eventually, he would marry Fatima, the Prophet's daughter. And Ali was saying, he was telling people about how, his wife, she putting in the housework basically hard. She would, back then, they used to grind the stuff and to make bread and everything. So they had like a mill, right? And it wasn't technologically advanced, so they would have this mill and make bread. And she would make the bread and her hands started to hurt like a lot. In addition, she used to, clean the floor and clean the where they lived and everything, but her dress would get dirty. And, sometimes she would have to carry things as well. She wasn't, a very physically strong person, sometimes she would carry stuff and it would wear her down. She would be physically exhausted sometimes doing household chores. Okay. She got information that the prophet was gifted some women servants. So Ali was like, "Yo, let's go talk to him and see if we can get one to help us out." She said, "All right, let's do it." Before they went to sleep. Somebody was at their residence. It was the prophet. So they wanted to get up. Now, they didn't have a bed. They were on the floor. Most people slept on the floor back then. Poverty was very rampant during that time period. So they laying down. They recognized the prophet at their entry. So they want to get up. Prophet said, "No, y'all stay there." So he goes to them. He sits in between them, takes off his sandals. He sits in between them. And Ali describes that while the prophet was sitting between me and Fatima, my wife, his daughter, the prophet's daughter, I felt his cold feet on my stomach, right? And then he said that, "What's your issue?" So they said, "Look, Fatima, she's putting all this work in, the household chores and this, that, and the third, and it's hard on her. We were hoping maybe you could, get one of those female servants that you have." So the prophet said, "I got something better for you. I got something better for you." He said to them, "If you say, 'Glory be to Allah' 33 times, praise be to Allah 33 times, and Allah is the greatest 34 times." Y'all doing the math? 33 and 33 is how much? 66. 66 and 34 is how much? 100. Yes, 100. That's what I mean by that. If you say, "Glory be to Allah 33 times, praise be to Allah 33 times, Allah is the greatest 34 times, this is 100 times, this is better for you than a servant." What did he mean by that? That if you say this, that this will help you and alleviate some of the work that you're doing throughout the course of the day. That's what he meant by that. Now, somebody's going to email me, "Shaykh Jibreel, see, I do stuff around the house. I got my husband helping me out. Now he going to tell me to do this. Now, see, you're going to cause problems now, right? You're going to cause problems." No, I ain't call them. Brothers, help your wife around the house. The prophet did that as well. Peace and blessings be upon him. However, this is also a good thing for everybody as well, especially those who are taking care of their homes. So that's the sixth thing. Watch your mouth, ablution, check your bed. Those last three chapters in the Quran, the throne verse, the 100-tongue exercise. I told you what that meant. Number seven, lights. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, mentioned, "Do not leave a fire burning in your houses while you are asleep." Back then they had butane lamps and what have you. Turn them off. By extension, some scholars have said also turn off the lamps in your home as well. And Allah knows best. One time in Medina, the city that they immigrated, that the believers of Mecca immigrated to, there was a fire that burnt down a house and the people living in the house. It was a fire, her house burnt down, and the people living in it also burnt down, also succumbed to the fire and everything. They died and the house burnt down to the ground, etc. So the prophet said, this fire, the fire that we be seeing sometimes, the fire engine trunks and everything that be, blowing the engines and everything. You may have seen the fires, that and the third. He said, this fire is an enemy to you. So when you go to sleep, extinguish it. When you go to sleep, extinguish it. So anybody that may have something that is dealing with fire at nighttime, turn it off. That seems obvious, but you never know. Lamps, like I said before, some also said to also either turn off or dim down your lamps. Okay, I got night lights. What about that? Night lights are for safety. That seems to be okay, inshallah. That seems to be okay. Number 8, close the doors and cover containers. Close the doors, cover containers. The Prophet Muhammad said the following: when there is nightfall, Keep your children close to you, your little children. When nightfall occurs, keep your little children close to you because the devils spread out when the night falls. In other words, when the sun set. When the sun set. An hour or so later, you can let them go. And close all your doors of your residence. Other narrations say close your windows as well. Close your windows as well, like your blinds and the windows and everything. And mention Allah's name. So when you close it, Bismillah, in the name of Allah. Why? Because the devil does not open a locked door. The devil does not open a locked door. He also said in this same narration, cover up your utensils and your containers. Cover up your utensils and your containers. And cover up anything that has food or liquid. And mention Allah's name or God's name as you're closing them. Like for example, this is some tea. It's now sunset. I see the app. Okay, Bismillah. In the name of Allah, close it. Close it up. I got some food from, Coffee with the Shaykh or 101. Close it. In the name of Allah. And then he says something very interesting as well. He said that other than the fact that the devils don't open up things that are closed or locked, he also said, because there is a night in the year. There is a night in the year when infectious diseases descend. Because there is a night in the year when an infectious disease descends. And it doesn't pass an uncovered vessel or container without some of that infectious disease descending on it. In other words, cover up the stuff to avoid the dissension or the possible dissension of an infectious disease on that thing. Now, we had the Rona happen about 3 years ago, right? We had the Rona happen 3 years ago. I heard one scholar mention this narration, only one. He said there are 10 things we can do to protect ourselves from this infectious disease, and he mentioned this narration. I ain't hear this from nobody. I heard all kind of stuff, but I ain't hear nobody talk about cover up your vessels when the night falls, because throughout one night, each year, an infectious disease descends. Allahu Akbar. That's the Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. So that's why. Number 9, special ablution. Hold up, man. Hold up. Number 2 was ablution. You got special? What you talking about, man? What you doing? All right. This is for the people that are in a state where they are impure from the standpoint of not being able to pray. We talk about people who are either menstruating or something else. Allah's messenger, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was asked, can any of us sleep while we are in a state of religious impurity? In other words, that we're not able to pray anything of that nature. And the Prophet said, yes, just perform ablution. That's it. Before you go to bed. That's it. So menstruating women. Earlier I talked about ablution, right? You can't pray when you're menstruating, but before you go to bed, you can still do ablution. That's from the way of the Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. For gentlemen, if you're married and you've had relations with your wife, likewise, women, if you are not menstruating, you have relations with your husband, and you do not want to take a complete bath, but you want to go to sleep, perform ablution, and then go to sleep. Some scholars have said the reason being is because it's like a layer or a barrier from any devil bothering you and encouraging you not to get up for the dawn prayer. That's why. Yeah. So one of the things that we learn is that the more a person strives to be pure before they go to bed, the less likely they're going to be bothered by a devil. Finally, watch your stomach. Whoa, what you mean by that? Watch your stomach. There was a companion one time, and he was telling his son, he said, one day I was sleeping in the mosque. During the last part of the night. Okay? Father telling his son, look, I was in the mosque. Last part of the night, I was laying on my stomach. Someone came to me and moved me with his foot, saying, get up, get up. And this is a manner of laying down which Allah hates. I raised my head, and it was the Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. Say it again. The man said, I was in the mosque last third of the night. I was laying on my stomach, sleeping. Somebody came, put their foot, and told me, get up, get up. This way of sleeping is hated by Allah. I raised my head, it was the Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. Assalamu alaikum. How you doing there? All right. So now, recap. Cut back on the talking after you pray. Night prayer. Don't go to sleep before it. Do ablution. Say a certain prayer. A couple of prayers we taught you. Make sure you wipe your bed before you get in the bed. And when you get up, let's say, for example, may Allah honor you, you got to use the bathroom, for example. You were asleep, you got up, I got to use the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, right? This, that, and the third. Wipe the bed down again. Every time you get up from the bed, wipe the bed down again. Read the 112, 113, 114 3 times. I showed you how to do it. Read the throne verse. Say, glory be to Allah. And praise be to Allah 33 times each. And then Allah is the greatest 34 times. Make sure that you, anything that is gaseous or flammable, make sure you extinguish it. Lights, generally speaking, turn them down. Closed doors and containers. Remember you say, and don't forget to say in the name of Allah before you cover them, before nightfall. And for those who are in a state of ritual impurity, then you can still do ablution before you go to sleep, and do not sleep on your stomach, but rather sleep on your right side. Here is the prayer that I told you about. Oh Allah, I surrender to you and trust all my affairs to you and depend upon you for your blessings, both with hope and fear of you. There is no fleeing from you, and there is no place of protection and safety except with you. Oh Allah, I believe in your book, which you have revealed, and in your prophet, whom you have sent. This is one of the most powerful prayers a person can say, to be honest with you, because what it does, it says the following: you are acknowledging that you are a God's or Allah's creation, and that you are, first thing you're saying is that I surrender to you. Here, take this. You are acknowledging that somebody possesses you, which is your creator. You're also saying that when it comes to everything in my life, I just trust you and only you. Right? And you're also saying that, look, I'm really hoping that you will bless me. And you're also saying that my life or my relationship with you is both hope and fear. Hope and fear. Hope for the reward, hope for his help, hope for all the things, and fear of a potential chastisement when we slip up. And there's no fleeing from you, and it's to the end of that sentence. What you're saying is that on the day of resurrection, first, we'll start with that. On the day of resurrection, can't nobody help me but you. Nobody. Not even the most beloved person in my life. Nah. And in this life, the only one that's able to protect me is you, with you sending your angels to be part of your military, if you will, to be with me. Second part of this, oh Allah, I believe in your book, which you have revealed. You are saying that the entire Quran, you believe from cover to cover. You got no doubts about it. Everything about it is the truth. Everything about it is guidance. Everything about it is purity. Everything about it is nothing but the best. And I believe in your prophet whom you sent. You believe in the Prophet Muhammad and everything that he has taught, like how to conduct ourselves before we go to bed, how to pray, how to believe, how to walk, how to talk, how to eat, how to get married, everything. Like you're basically saying that this Quran and the way of the Prophet, that's what I'm trying to be about, even while I'm asleep. So when I die, that's what I'm on. And we ask Allah the Most High to let us be successful in practicing these different etiquettes before we go to bed and give us the ability to be consistent in doing it. We ask you, Allah, to let us be people to come close to you in this life and hereafter. And Allah knows best. Alhamdulillah.
Absolutely beautiful, ya Shaykh.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
Please, brothers and sisters, give it up for dear Shaykh Jibreel. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, Shaykh, may Allah bless you. May Allah reward you. I don't mean to break your back by praising you, but it was so practical, of course, the way you laid it out, right? And this is our faith. Mm-hmm. The one phrase that was just coming to my mind that a Shaykh said that's very beloved to my heart is Islam is dope.
Yes.
Shaykh Jibreel himself,
yes.
He's coined that term, mashallah. But I mean, it's just very beautiful, right? And even for, of course, this session, our focus, of course, is for our brothers and sisters that are new to Islam or coming back. But it's even for, of course, the greater community, because we all need to learn, right? So I really appreciate it. I have a favor to ask, if you want to consider it. This was so beautiful. Is there a way we can do this for other, like before using the restroom, for example? Or before, you know how you laid it out, so in a practical way.
I can do that.
Just like the hadith, if we can do it for different aspects of our daily life. I think it was beautiful. I mean, do you guys agree, brothers and sisters? If it's possible, if you would consider that, I think it'll be beautiful for our sessions. I mean, it's just whenever you prefer. We can take one section at a time. Whatever, you know.
All right, that's cool.
You know.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's almost like the fortress, the dua book, the fortress of the believer, but just breaking it down in like miscellaneous section or something like that. But I'll leave that to you, Shaykh. But I have to say, may Allah reward you. This is beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Ameen.
All right, brothers and sisters, I'll pass around the mic. Inshallah, just want to keep in mind, eye on the clock. 3:15 is prayer. We still have time, but just want to be mindful of that as well. If you have a question, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll come around with the mic. Brothers and sisters that are online, a number of you are online. If you want to drop your questions in the comment section, I'll go ahead and get that to Shaykh Jibreel as well. I see Sister Yuki, Sister Jamila. I'll come around.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah.
So I have a question and a request.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is that, so the list of the things that the checklist that you have, let's say I have a habit of praying Isha and Witr before I go to sleep. So can you incorporate some of those within the same time when I'm doing the Isha and the Witr?
If you pray, the night prayer or Isha, and then you pray Witr, and then you do this is fantastic. Good for you. That's excellent.
Sounds good. Thank you. And my request would be that the 100 tongue exercise, can you tell us in Arabic?
Can I tell you in Arabic what?
100 tongue exercise.
Oh, I'm sorry. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar.
Jazakallah khairan.
وإياكي. Alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Are we allowed to fall asleep with any type of sounds going on? Like, of course, not like music, but like if you like to listen to like white noise or like ASMR.
That's fine. Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, brothers, you want to put us on the board? All right, Francisco. As I get over to Francisco, Sheikh Jibreel, for number 4, chapters 112, 113, 114, you mentioned then to blow into your hands and kind of wipe over, or as how the Prophet did. So you recite chapter 112, 113, 114
And then
3
you
times?
spittle. Then you spittle after that.
Yeah.
And then you wipe.
So that's once.
That's
Do you
once.
say 3 times?
3
you do that?
times.
So the whole process, 112, 113, for the second time, why? Okay, got it.
Yep.
Salam, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So what about like if you have a bad dream, right? Because sometimes like I'll have a bad dream and I'll get mad and I'm like, man, I want to dream it again and fight the guy or something, you know? Like, what could I do instead to like change up that vibe, I guess?
Okay. Now, that's a great question. What happens if you get a bad dream, which may occur from time to time? First, don't tell anybody you had a bad dream. Don't tell anybody you had a bad dream. Now, if you had a good dream, share it with people. That's what the Prophet has taught us. Now, you're asleep and you got, something scared you. You wake up. What should I do? You spittle on your left shoulder like this. Okay. And then after that, you go back to sleep on your right-hand side. Rereading the second chapter, verse 255.
Is the spitting considered like superstition or is that just a practice that the Prophet did?
That was the practice of the Prophet. And one reason being is because one time the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, he was praying. He was praying and he was being distracted. So he spittled to his left and that pushed away the devil. And the same teaching when it comes to sleeping is that when this happens, you spittle on your left to push away the devil.
And is it just for bad nightmares or like when bad things happen in general? Because I heard it was also a practice like in Judaism where they'd spit 3 times.
No, only for bad dreams. As far as bad thoughts, we simply say, I seek refuge in Allah from the evil devil.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sheikh, on that, so when you say if it's a bad dream, it's like a dry spit onto your right side, correct? In case
No, your left side.
left side, sorry, left side. Just I'm saying if the spouse is there, you probably don't want to. Just making sure we're all on the same page. You
you do like that. I mean, that's gonna be. If you come to mass with a black eye, what you expect, bro? I mean,
I'll reward you. Is that also if you're in prayer and you have there's a mention of that as well to do the same thing?
Yeah, because yes, and you do it very gently, not so people can You don't want to wait. Real, all right, real gentle, real subtle, not. What you doing, man? I mean, we got Rona going on out. No, you don't want to do that, right? No, you gonna make dua. Allah, this one didn't. No, man, come on, man. You don't want.
Trying to get a nice follow, our dear Sheikh. Brothers and sisters, again, if you have questions, please raise your hand. I'll be more than happy to come around. Sheikh, you had mentioned also, of course, sleep on the right side. What do you do in a situation? Let's just say somebody has a medical condition or a surgery or a rotator's cuff or something, arthritis. Is there and on the back side, it's hard for them because there's concept of just freezing.
Is it better for them to sleep? Can they sleep on the left side?
Yeah.
I mean, all these actions are recommended. It's not like it's obligatory. Now, remember now, actions have different categories. We're just giving you actions which are highly recommended, i.e., you do them, great, brings you closer to Allah. You get rewards for it, etc. If you don't do it, then there's no blame, if you will. But we it doesn't make any sense for a Muslim to only be happy with the bare minimum when they have golden opportunity to get more than the bare minimum. That's number one. Number two, as far as a person that may have a shoulder problem, may Allah protect us from such things, then the person does the following. Be mindful of Allah to one's best ability. So what does that mean? Practice all this. Lay on your left. Lay on your left. Uh, Hopefully you will also obtain the exact same benefits because you have a medical condition. All right. It's not like you're doing it purposely. All right, that's a different discussion. You say, I don't feel like doing it on my right side, I'm doing it on my left side. Well, that's another discussion. We're talking about people that have medical condition. They are an exception to this. And hopefully Allah willing to get the exact same rewards and benefits that the Prophet mentioned. And Allah knows best.
Thank you so much, Sheikh Jibreel. Appreciate it. Brothers and sisters, questions? A few minutes left. Yeah? All right. Come to Sister Cynthia and then Sister Nelly.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I was wondering, you explained that we should sleep on our right side. Is there any guidance as to which side of, like you said, on the right side of our bodies, but is there any guidance as to which side of the bed to sleep on, or like based on gender or anything like that?
No,
or it
no, no,
doesn't
no,
matter?
no. Whatever. If you
Okay.
like the left side of the bed, that's your business. You like the right side, that's your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shaykh.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So I didn't understand number 10. Watch your stomach. Okay, so
Yeah. So I ain't going. Okay. So this is a human being. Okay. This is the stomach area. This is the floor or bed, rather, the bed. All right. I want to go to bed, go to sleep. So now you're sleeping on your bed, on your stomach right now. The Prophet said, "No, don't do that, because that's a hated sleeping position to Allah." You know why? Because some people in the hellfire are going to be in this position. That's why. All right. All right. But even if there weren't, simply the fact that the Prophet said this is hated by Allah, oh, I don't want to do that. You follow? Okay, and okay. Yeah, so I mean, there's certain things that you look and say, man, well, I mean, look, there's certain things that in Islam, sometimes the Prophet explains it, sometimes he doesn't explain it. He tells us, do it like this, you're good to go. Okay, I hear and obey. All right, so there you go. All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So you mentioned that once a year a disease or infectious disease comes down.
Yes.
And is that Allah sending it down? And if so, why does He send an infectious disease one time? Like, because I feel like if I explain that to a non-believer, they'd be like, "Well, why is Allah sending down diseases?"
Okay. First, yes, Allah is the one, of course, because He creates everything. Allah is the one who created the COVID-19 and all the other different coronaviruses that exist. And I mean, He's created all of that. And He also has decreed for sickness to occur. We have to get something in our heads right now. This life is a life of trials and tests. It is not a life of eternal bliss. This is the problem that some people have, Muslim and non-Muslim. I'm gonna put the Muslims in there too, because they be thinking something like this too. Why we gotta go through all this? Because this life is not a life of eternal bliss. We're gonna be going through it from time to time. And there are different places in the Quran. So let's start with the second chapter. In the second chapter, after Allah commands the believers to seek Allah's help via perseverance in prayer. Indeed, Allah is with those who are perseverant. Then He goes on and says, we are definitely going to test you with the following things. We're going to test you with a little bit of fear. We're going to test you with a little bit of hunger. We're going to test you with a little bit of deficiency in wealth and in health. Sickness is deficiency in health, yes? Okay. So we got it right there, boom. He's telling us, you're going to go through this. You're going to go through this. And we mentioned on Friday as well, which ties into this, and the Imam, also the Shaykh mentioned this in his sermon, the 1240, wherein Allah asks in the 29th chapter, do people think they'll be left alone simply saying, I believe and not be tested? Okay, so we know that it's possible we might taste some fear. Possible you might get some hunger. Possible that we're gonna have some deficiency in wealth, and also possible sickness as well. So we know that those are the four basic things that we're gonna be going through in some way, shape, or form. But then, what does Allah say after that? Glad tidings, or rather, He told the Prophet Muhammad, give glad tidings to those who are perseverant. Those that say when they are hit with a calamity, say what? Indeed, we belong to Allah, and indeed, we're going to return to Him. And what's the reward to that? The reward is that Allah praises them, tells the angels, pray for them, and then He gives them mercy. We don't know how much, but a great amount of mercy, and they are the ones who are rightly guided. So, I mean, infectious disease. So that's one thing. Second thing, another thing we have to take into consideration is that whenever infectious diseases do occur, there's a lot of good that comes out of it. Case in point, how many people heard of the word coronavirus before this COVID-19? I never heard about it before. I was like, what is that? All right. And then I didn't know there were a whole bunch of coronaviruses in the world. I didn't know that either. So, oh, snap. I didn't know that. So I learned something. Okay. It's also a challenge for whom? For people who Allah is blessed with some intelligence to raise their medical game to look for the cures. See, one of the things that Allah has done in the Quran when He talks is that He has challenged throughout civilizations to take grasp of the natural world. Take grasp of the. He's given us the ability to dig deeper into the natural world. Why? So we can learn more about Allah. That's why. You follow? Now, I encourage you, generally speaking, to go to Al Jazeera's YouTube channel. They have a documentary about the caliphs, three-part series talk about the history of the different caliphs, and there's a discussion about the Abbasid caliph that happened. So the prophet, he died, peace must be upon him. Then the four Radical caliphs. Then after you had another dynasty called the Umayyad. Then after the Abbasid, that time period, which is approximately the 8th century Christian era or Common Era. In Baghdad, when they were running the show, that particular dynasty, they had this place called the House of Wisdom, Arabic Bayt al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom. The House of Wisdom was located in Baghdad, which was the center of the Islamic empire at that time period. The House of Wisdom was what you call a super university. So it was a gathering of all the greatest scholars, Muslim and non-Muslim. It had a translation house, basically, to translate stuff from Greek to Arabic, dormitory, and other things as well. During that time period, from the golden age of intelligentsia or intelligence in the Muslim world, particularly, which helped eventually Renaissance Europe, was from the 8th century until the 11th century, 300 years of intellectual supremacy by Allah's permission. Within that time period, the great scholars, the Muslim scholars of the past, they were pioneers in what? In medicine, psychiatric studies, psychological studies, mathematics, physics, astronomy. The GPS that we all use is based upon trigonometry, which is based upon Muslim scholars. Did you know that? Now you know, right? I say all that just to tell you that they understood when they read the Quran and when they read the hadith, the prophetic words. The Prophet said, there is a cure for every disease except for one. There's a cure for every disease except for one. You know what that one is? Death. Who said it? Death. Death is the only disease, there ain't no cure. So every time Allah sends down a disease, there is a cure for it. Which means that as a challenge for us, right, or people that you know are Muslim, to do what? To start digging and use their talents to try to find what are the cures for. I'm just telling you all that because as Muslims, we have to remember and reorient our thinking and not think that, man, you know, why is Allah doing that? Rather, we say, okay, we know why Allah is doing it, but what are the things I can learn from it? That really is the bigger question. And Allah knows best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When you end your night well, the angel's gonna make dua for you until the morning. So, what if you wake up in the middle of the night once, twice, go to the bathroom? Do they stop making the dua for you, or do you make the ablution again and go back to sleep, or what?
They're still praying for you.
Okay,
They're still praying for you.
but should I renew the ablution?
Yeah, I mean, of course, definitely, you know, absolutely. In fact, there's a narration that states that if a person gets up in the middle of the night, right, they say, you know, praise be to Allah, and they get up, and maybe they, you know, they handle their business in the bathroom, and after they do ablution, right, then they pray 2 units of prayer, and then they make supplication. Guess what? They be answered. Even if you pray the witr prayer after you pray the night prayer, right? Fine. All right. So generally speaking, angels always pray for the believers. That's the general thing. And then you have another set of angels that may do more depending upon the level of the person. Well, how do we know whose level is higher or lower? Only Allah knows that. That's why it is a beautiful competition. Like all y'all are in competition with one another as to who's going to try to be the best. Maybe all y'all are the best are in this room right now. I don't know. Maybe they the best. I don't know. Maybe all y'all the best. I hope so. You follow? So that's a beautiful competition, unlike the football or baseball or whatever. And Allah knows best.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Shaykh, are you able to go over again how to make ablution?
Me?
Like, can you explain like how to do that, or?
Sure.
Mhm.
All right. Which one of y'all want to teach her how to do ablution? I'm going to deputize
Does it
somebody.
have to be a female?
Who know how to do ablution?
Oh.
Y'all know how to do ablution? Okay.
Mhm.
What's your name, sis? Avalon? Avalon got you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Avalon's going to get rewarded for that. So every time, you see, Islam is dope. I'm trying to tell you something. Every time, now that Avalon's going to teach you how to do ablution, each and every time you do it, guess what? She get rewarded. She get rewarded for that. That's why she did it. MashaAllah. All right? She's like, yo, I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to get that. Yeah, let me get that. Right? Now, check it out. When you do ablution, remember now, sins be dropping off. So does her sins. Because she taught you. See, it's easy. That's competition. That's what I'm talking about. Allah knows best. Mm-hmm.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Is it permissible to have pictures hanging up in your house of yourself or your family? Because I hear a lot that the angels don't visit your house.
Yeah, there's a difference of opinion concerning that issue. ranging from yes, I mean rather yeah, yes, it is impermissible across the board to those saying that well, the pictures that are meant in the narration are more so sculptures and the like. You ever go to a museum, for example, you see like those different sculptures of people and what have you. That's what some scholars say. And then they, of course, argue about the fact that what we're actually seeing as far as the pictures are a use of the shadows and the lights and this, that, and the third. That's not really the imagery that the prophet is talking about, etc. So my point is that there is a difference of opinion concerning that issue. If you have them, I can't tell you that it's impermissible. I cannot tell you that. So when discussing about the angels not coming into not coming into the homes, that's part of their argument that what they're referring to are those sculptured images that that is meant by those narrations, and Allah knows best. Now, that being said, I would encourage people, if you're going to have your pictures out, this is what I encourage for the women particularly, right? Don't have no picture of you without your khimar on. I've gone to some people's homes and I see pictures of, you know, the family and the sister ain't got a khimar. I'm like, man, I don't want to see that. I'm just being honest with you. Like, put that in a photo album or something, man. Allah knows best.
And khimar, you're just referring to the headscarf, yeah?
Huh?
Khimar, you're just referring to the headscarf.
Yeah, the headscarf. I'm sorry, the headscarf. My bad.
Thank you. Okay, so we got two questions, then we'll close it right here.
Okay.
As Sheikh Jibreel said, for Sister Cynthia and Sister Avalon, thank you so much for helping our sister out. Sister Avalon is, of course, one of our newer mentors here at IFC. As she went through our level 1 and level 2 mentorship program. And so our hope is, as our brothers and sisters are new to Islam, they go through the mentorship program and get mentored, they themselves become mentors. So I'm very happy that you stepped up, Sister Avalon. And Sister Cynthia will get you started in the mentorship program as well, inshallah. Tony?
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So I had a question about prayer. I'm not sure if I asked you this before, but I'll ask.
Okay.
Anyway, I was with somebody, and I think it was Asr that came in.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was they prayed inside their car. And then I said, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. I've never seen that before. So then I said, hey, I don't think you're supposed to do that, right? And then I told them where the Qibla was, right? I said, the Qibla's here. We can pray right here. So what they did was they got their car, they made a U-turn and put their car towards the Qibla and prayed inside their car regardless. And then when I talked to them about it again, they said that, well, Tony, I'm traveling. So because I'm traveling, I can do it like this.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you know,
All
maybe
right.
if you
So,
can elaborate on that.
right.
But I told them that in regards to travel, I do know that it's a certain mile radius. So from Long Beach to Orange, that's not within that mile radius.
That ain't traveling, man. That's not traveling, first of all. Okay, so let's somebody is traveling. It's time for prayer, obligatory prayer. You gotta get out your car and you gotta pray. The only time you can pray sitting down like that is recommended prayers. That's it. See, recommended prayers, there's some leeway for certain things due to the actions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. But the obligatory prayer, no, you got to stand up. Traveling or not traveling, unless you have no choice. For example, at an if you're flying, for example, if you're on an airplane, you know, unless it's owned by the Muslims and it's time for prayer, and you know that when you land, you're going to miss out on, you know, a bunch of them. You know, you go to the bathroom, get yourself cleaned up, you sit down, Allahu Akbar, do the best you can. That's fine. You have no choice in that situation. But that type of scenario, the individual has to get out of their car. They have to pray their obligatory prayer, standing up, unless that person is not able to stand. Then that's a different discussion. So maybe the person wasn't able to stand maybe give that person that excuse. I don't know, but I'm just. You're small like, nah, it's a stretch, bro. That's nah, he should have gotten out the car and he should have stood up and prayed. But what can you do? You did your best. May Allah reward you for advising him to do the right thing. But you can't do anything else after that. So, alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So slightly off topic from the checklist, still related to bedtime. Do you have any du'as or Islamic practices that one should do if they have trouble falling asleep? Maybe people that have insomnia or just have trouble in general. I know for me, for example, before I go to bed, I realize I still have to pray Asha. I'm like sleepy, but I have to pray Asha. Before I pray Asha, I maybe make wudu, and then when I make wudu, I have water that I splash on my face, and I'm wide awake now. So, I just have a question on, if there's any du'as or any Islamic practices that one should do if they just have trouble falling asleep.
I don't know of any specific supplication for insomnia. I can look that up for you. Generally speaking, though, you should, of course, anyone that is having this issue should ask Allah and continuously ask Allah to grant him the ability to get some sleep. That's all I can tell you for now. If I find something, I'll pass it on to Brother Jamal, inshallah. Okay? All right. May Allah make it easy for you. Ameen.
Ameen. We do have to call it a session. There's 3 p.m. Shaykh Jibreel Speight, thank you so much. Please, brothers and sisters, give it up for dear Shaykh Jibreel. Allahu Akbar. Shaykh Jibreel, we kept you longer than usual, but that seems to be the case every time you come, just because we love you so much for the sake of Allah. And we do appreciate all the effort and the time that you put into the content here as well. So thank you so much. And brothers and sisters, I pray it was beneficial for you as well. Of course, as you guys know, we do record our sessions, so you can always go back. I would encourage myself and by extension everybody else to go back, listen to it for a second and third time, take notes. What was really beautiful, Shaykh Jibreel, was just seeing
Allahu
many people
Akbar,
taking notes.
Allahu
This is
Akbar.
very, very nice. So thank you all very much for
Allahu
taking it seriously. Not that if you're not taking notes, you're not taking it seriously, but you understand what I'm saying. May Allah bless you guys. A few announcements. We'll call it a session. First thing is
أشهد أن
Shaykh, if you
لا
want to stick the HDMI
إله
plug up, if you like.
إلا
It's on the screen.
الله.
A few things. Number one, please don't forget this
أشهد
coming
أن
Saturday is our
لا
monthly food distribution. It's coming
إله
Saturday,
إلا
monthly food distribution. That's going to be on December 2nd. As you guys know, this is once a month that we're doing this, and then the diapers are once a
أشهد
month. So if anybody's
أن
able to volunteer a few
محمد
hours to help out, as you guys
رسول
know, we have a lot of people that come through the mosque, many of them being non-Muslim. And it's part of our DNA, of course, to give back. So
أشهد
please
أن
do your best to
محمد
sacrifice a few hours that day.
رسول
Again, Saturday, December 2nd. You can just send me a
الله.
message and we'll go ahead and get you started and signed up for that volunteer opportunity. That's number one. Number two, as you guys know, IFC, many people are inquiring, stepping up, saying, hey, I want to get married, so forth. Maybe even in our program as well, in the Dawah, the New Muslim program. So the Masjid tries to do these events to the best of their ability of getting people together and getting them married the right way, right? So they have another marriage event coming up in a few weeks. If you guys are interested in that or want to explore that, I believe it's on the Masjid's Instagram page and on the website as well. And there should be a flyer outside on the shelf as well. If you want to take a picture of that, you'll have it for your records as well. I believe that's coming up in like a week or 2 weeks. I don't have the exact date. But again, you can go online, you can check that out as well. Number three, as you guys know, we always leave a little donation box here at the table. There are many noble organizations and causes to give to, and we should do our best to give to all of them. But please don't forget your own mosques. New Muslim in your Dawah program here. If you don't have cash, not a problem. There's a QR code. You can scan that and you can donate and help us out to offset the expenses that we might have in our program as well. And then two more points. Number one, we're blessed. I wanted to introduce someone that's joining us here for the first time, and that's none other than Salvador. Salvador, if you can just raise your hand for me. This is Salvador's first time joining us here today. And give it up. And this is our dear brother Francisco's friend for how many years, Francisco, you were telling me? That long, right? Since first grade. So I'm not gonna ask you how old you are, but that's I'm assuming many years. But the fact that we're extending that invitation, which we should all try to do our best to do. We really appreciate the Francisco. So Salvador, welcome, my dear bro. It was a pleasure meeting you before the class. I hope you're enjoying it, and of course, open door policy here. Anytime you want to join us and be with us, you're most welcome to do so. And then lastly, just want to recap on Friday. I'm sure some of you got the messages. Of course, Sheikh Jibreel, he honored us by leading the Coffee with the Sheikh open QA session. But that Friday was a Friday to remember, as every day is to remember. But that Friday, it was so blessed that we had actually not one, not two, but three people that became Muslim here at IIOC. And I think by extension, many mosques probably globally were having people embracing Islam. And it was a very beautiful, very emotional day. And one of them I would like to just introduce is our dear sister Cynthia. Cynthia, if you could just raise your hand, please. This is Cynthia's first time in our Islam 101 class. So she joined the Friday class, of course, and then today is her first time in a 101 class. So just wanted to welcome you as well, Sister Cynthia. So she's just about less than 2 days old, as we would say, after becoming a Muslim. So again, brothers and sisters, do your best. Do your best right now. And so that was three, sorry, on Friday. We had another brother who embraced Islam 2 days before. Part of our outreach, our da'wah, the team was setting up in front of Disneyland. So across the street from Disneyland, the main entrance, we had a little table, just assigned his free Qur'ans. Over a process of 3 days, a lot of people are coming over and requesting Qur'ans. I think like around 90 brochures they passed out, a number of translations of the Qur'an. And so one of the brothers embraced Islam there as well. A lot of people are interested in Islam. So do your best within your capacity to convey the message of Islam. Whatever that is, you do your best. We always have a Dawah Islam 101 table outside. I would encourage you all to grab some brochures, grab some Qur'ans, keep it with you, because you never know when that opportunity might arise. Whether it's in English or Spanish, we try to have translations on both sides. So please keep that with you. It could be your Uber driver. It could be somebody in the family. It could be someone at work, etc. Always have something with you and be prepared at all times as best as possible. Again, thank you all very much. If everyone can help me out in putting the tables and chairs away on the racks, we want to make sure it's leveled off and it's not going too high, because then we have to take the chairs down as well. We have racks on both sides. So we do have food left over, so we don't want to waste anything. If you guys can take a plate and some snacks home, we would greatly appreciate it. And we'll see everyone this coming Friday with Coffee with the Sheikh. Sheikh Jibreel, as always, my beloved Sheikh, may Allah reward you and bless you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.